This week on the John Dulong Show, Twitter needs to get it together. Brock Turner is still in jail. And, of course, the Premier League is back. I'm so excited. Let's start the show. Well, hello, hooray, hurrah, and welcome to the John Dulong Show. Welcome to episode number 41. Welcome to your weekly dose, the Friday afternoon fun times, the Friday afternoon fiesta. Hope that you are having a wonderful week. I'm John Dulong. I'm so happy to have you here once again. Come on in, take a seat, relax, and settle in for another episode of the John Dulong Show. Hope that you enjoyed last week's episode. If you took a listen, it was a weird one. I have to say the Iglesias family has left my thoughts since last week. But that was a fun little trip down the Wikipedia rabbit hole. Recorded that episode a bit earlier than normal because I was actually out of town. The girlfriend and I took a little road trip up to St. John, New Brunswick. Had a lovely time visiting with Sister Katie and Bevan, her boyfriend. The couch wasn't awesome, but you know what? It was a good time nonetheless. Here's the funny thing about St. John. Now, like New Brunswick in general, they have cheaper beer prices than they do here in Nova Scotia. But the actual selection of beers in New Brunswick at the New Brunswick Alcohol and Liquor Corporation, or I don't know, whatever their liquor corporation is actually called there. Their beer selection is significantly better than it is in the NSLC, the Nova Scotia Liquor Corp. Right down to the fact that they have beers that are made here in Halifax that I have to go to the actual brewery in order to actually acquire, that they can just get in their liquor store. It's hilarious. So Garrison has this jalapeno ale that I've absolutely fallen head over heels in love with. In order to get it here in Halifax, I've got to truck downtown to Garrison. Now, not a huge problem for me to go down to Garrison. I go down to Garrison. I can hit up the farmers market as well while I'm down there. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit out of the way insofar as I don't have a car, and if I'm going down there, I want to pick up some stuff, and not having a vehicle to truck it back with, it can be a little bit frustrating. But if I really do have a hankering for this beer, which I do like, then I can go down there and grab it. They can just get it at the New Brunswick Liquor Corp just anytime at all. It's hilarious. Whatever. Also they fill growlers at their, I think it's probably mostly because they don't have as many microbrews there, but yeah, they just have growler filling stations at their liquor stores. I hope that's something that comes into the NSLC at some point. That would be pretty nice. I mean, again, it's probably down to the fact that they don't have as many microbreweries as we do, sort of per capita. I don't know. It's just it's interesting. We got to check out the New Brunswick Museum there in St. John, which is really nice. Their farmers market is absolutely beautiful as well. Got to check that out. Did a little bit of touring around the town. I've been to St. John before, but didn't really ever spend any amount of time there. This was nice to sort of get to be a bit of a tourist in a city that I don't know that well. Really enjoyed my time there. I'd be looking forward to going back again sometime in the future. Hopefully, with a little bit more time than just a weekend to take in the city and to take in a few of the other, I don't know, things to do, the other amenities to do. They have a barcade there, which I absolutely need to try. Which again, that's something that seems so Halifax to me. I don't understand how we don't have a barcade. We've got a rage room. We've got a couple of VR spots, and again, we've got beer gardens and microbreweries and all sorts of stuff. But it's shocking to me that a barcade hasn't happened in this city yet. I imagine that it can't be too long until somebody does that. I know that there has been some retro arcade type establishments that have popped up, but a barcade just seems like a fit for this town. with it being like a primarily university city, like large student population, just feels like it would be something that would really, really fit. So I don't know. By and large, though, had a really great trip. Weather held out really, really nice. Got to see that Traitor, Theodore Tugboat, over there in St. John. The filthy, filthy traitor, spending his time over there rather than where he belongs, right here in Halifax. But, it's besides the point. Had a really great time, and again, I'm looking forward to the next time that we get to go. We get to go up there. Other than that, it's just been sort of another week in the life. Thank God the weather has seemed to break. We've been dealing with these crazy, crazy high temperatures here in Halifax over the last little while. We're talking like humidex tipping over 40 degrees in some places in Nova Scotia. I think the highest that it got here in town was sort of the high 30s, but like that's just too hot. Thank God I have an air conditioner, because I do not stand humidity very, very well. And just to be like baking in that sort of wet heat, I just would not be able to handle it. But the heat seems to have broken. We had a couple of days of some pretty heavy rain, so still pretty humid, but it's been like not haven't been dealing with a situation where we're already dealing with a temperature that's near 30 degrees, and then you add on the humidity on top of that. So that's been nice. As I understand it, we're supposed to be getting, it's one of those things where they've been calling for major thunderstorms for like a week, and it's just like, good Lord, please let it happen so that some of this humidity can break for a little bit. But at the very least, it's a little bit cooler, a little bit more comfortable of a walk to and from school for yours truly. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it just calming down a little bit. This is usually the first like major heat wave is the back half of July into the first couple of weeks of August. Then we get a little bit of reprieve, and it gets into those dog days of summer where it's just a nice, steady, warm, sunny, hot temperature. Humidity isn't as bad. And then we have a couple of weeks of it kind of being cool, and then a surprise, like, it's it's that late summer heat wave that always comes in and, makes you think that it's going to stay warm until like Halloween. I think it did last year. It was actually pretty warm on Halloween, if I remember correctly. Like, I was still able to wear shorts pretty late last year. Understand it's supposed to be actually a fairly mild winter, which I'd be okay with. I'll be doing my placement, and I have about a 30-minute commute to my placement this winter. And if I don't have to be doing that in awful snowy conditions, 10-4, like on board with that would be okay. But why am I talking about snow in the beginning of August? I don't know. I am but a fool. Anywho, this episode is going to mostly be all about good news, because I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling good in this nice weather. Now that the heat has broken, I'm feeling a little bit happy, a little bit positive. So I'm going to talk about positive things today, and right after this, we're going to get right into it. The return of the Premier League. League soccer is back, baby. I cannot wait. This weekend, it begins. All right, I'm just going to throw out a quick reminder. I'm going to do this every week up until the voting is over. Make sure that you go over to bestofhalifax.com. This is the Best of Halifax Awards put on by the Coast every single year. Make sure that you vote in every category, but in particular under media, best podcast. Make sure you throw a vote over to friends of the show, Elwood City Limits. Will and Lucas nominated this year. Very, very exciting that they are nominated. And as I said to Will, how else am I going to ride their coattails if they're not successful? So just make sure that you go on over there. Of course, voting runs until September the 15th, with the awards actually being handed out in November. But make sure that you go over there and vote plenty early. Get your vote casted plenty early. let's break the stranglehold that I'm sure Sick Boy has over the category. So the Premier League is back. Seems like just yesterday that we were talking about the end of the season, talking about Liverpool's heartbreaking loss in the Champions League final. It probably feels like it's so recently because the World Cup happened this summer. So that explains it hasn't been that long since I was watching regular high quality football. But here we are. We're back to the league football scene. I am heavily excited about the season, about how things are shaping up for Liverpool's chances. Of course, this was the first season where the transfer window for the Premier League closed early. It closed on the 9th, so yesterday, Thursday, and Liverpool had already done their work pretty early on. Like we knew that we had Keita coming in, and he's looking an amazing player. We brought in Fabinho just completely out of nowhere. Shaqiri came in right after the World Cup, and of course we finalized terms with Alisson Becker as well. A little bit of a shame that we couldn't get the Fekir deal done. I think that would have made it an absolutely perfect window from the perspective of incoming deals. But ultimately bringing in those 4 players is just going to make Liverpool overall a much, much better squad and give us a real opportunity to challenge for silverware, even challenge for the league. Of course, it's kind of like a bit of a meme. I think I talked about this when Mitch Hall was on the show earlier this year. It's a bit of a meme that every year could be Liverpool's year, but I don't know. Like it feels really good. Feels like City, even though they were so significantly head and shoulders above the rest of the league last year, they feel a lot more catchable this season. Realistically, they've only brought in Riyad Mahrez, which is no small thing. I mean, Riyad Mahrez is a very, very good player, and he's going to bring a lot of talent on the wing for City. But I mean, like, United has not done really anything of note. Arsenal, you know what? Arsenal is Arsenal. They're starting things anew after the era of Arsene Wenger ended. So they brought in Leno, they brought in Torreira, one other player whose name I can't remember right now. Similarly, like Chelsea, I think Chelsea is going to be the team of the traditional big names that maybe struggles the most, just simply because they're dealing with a squad, they're dealing with a new manager. Like it just kind of feels like they're really behind the 8 ball in terms of things. I mean, Antonio Conte was doing preseason stuff with the squad, even though it was kind of known that he was on his way out, like it was 1 foot out the door. So Sarri comes in and like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like he's had enough time with the squad to actually implement the kind of team that he would want. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking things, because ultimately it is year 3 for Jose Mourinho, and he's been complaining that he hasn't been able to bring in the players that he wanted. It's kind of funny. Like they started off the end of the league, and you kind of forget that like they placed second last year, and they came into this transfer window with their eyes set on like Gareth Bale, on Antoine Griezmann, and like, come to find out they could only bring in Fred, and like they have Jerome Boateng saying like, actually bro, I'm good, I don't want to join, I don't want to come to Manchester. So it feels like it's going to be a little bit typical fare from Jose Mourinho in his 3rd year. It's just kind of a question to me of like, what happens first? Does Jose Mourinho self-destruct and end up getting let go, or does Roman Abramovich lose his patience with Sarri and kick him out of Chelsea first? It's a question of which one cracks first, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's going to be an interesting. I think if you're going to place a prop bet, that's the interesting one to take a look at this season. And so far as major outgoings are concerned, the way that it works is that teams from the Premier League can still sell until the World Deadline Day ends, which is the end of August.